Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So the lighting is really bad right now. Of course, today that I decide to film, it has to be a gray, ugly day. So yeah, whatever. So we're just gonna deal with it. Today we're going to be talking about the one of the most popular movies in I think 2017, Call Me by Your Name, and why I feel like it wasn't like that. Like, I'm not gonna say the movie wasn't good, but it wasn't that like good of a movie as people like made it out to be. No offense. Like, it was, to me, like as the title says, it was kind of boring. Like, I'm sorry, it was boring, but I'll tell you why I think it was boring. But before we get into it, don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And my links are right down below in the description. Don't forget to subscribe and to put on my post notifications. Thank you. And let's get right into it. So the movie starts out with a nice little caption in cursive. Summer of 1980, whatever. Somewhere in, I think they said northern Italy, something like that. And then, they start out the movie. So the whole premise of it, plot, whatever, is about a grown man named Oliver. It's about 24 years old, who goes to Italy for a research program, I believe. Something like that. And he goes to stay with this family. And part of the family is 17-year-old Elio, played by your favorite white boy, Timothy Chalamet. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, so Timothy Chalamet. Yeah. So throughout the movie, Elio, is randomly swimming, playing the piano, and the guitar, and he has these romantic encounters with his childhood friend, Marzia. And I don't remember her name. I'm sorry. I believe it's Marzia. Marzia. Sorry, I don't know. And like they have this sort of like friends with benefits relationship. That's kind of what the vibe I was getting from like those random scenes together. One day when Elio is playing some sport, I forget the sport, with his friends, in the in their like backyard or whatever, Elio isn't playing well, and he's like, like just kind of nervous and uptight, and I guess something like that. And then Oliver randomly pulls him to the side and is like, I think you're a little uptight, like let's loosen you up, and like giving him like a back massage and like a little like touching him randomly, like to me it was kind of weird that like he randomly did that. And that was like at like the like towards I believe it's the beginning of the movie, because he doesn't really know him that well, so it's just the way he did it. I don't know, it was just interesting. And I'll get back to that and like my thoughts on that. There was a bunch of like aesthetic shots of Italy, like just randomly, and it was like these long shots. Like it literally, to me, it like every time they were like like filming these random places in Italy, like the scenery, and then they go to like Elio or whoever is going to be in the next scene, is like just long shots of like Italy. So and there wasn't much dialogue. Like there was just a bunch of like shots of Elio and Oliver swimming, just in the pool, like just swimming and like talking to each other, 3 words, and then swimming again. And no, they're just doing summer things in Italy, basically. So here and there, Elio and Oliver like have these like little like flirty like back and forths, banter, teasing, like I don't know, like like the teasing, like the sarcasm. Elio's sarcastic, and then Oliver is like, oh, haha, like that's basically what it is for like a good hour of the movie. There's more scenes of them being cute, and they're being cute, but they're not, to me, they're not really showing that they love each other. It's just like they're just being cute. I don't know. It just seemed like they were just like bros. But I guess the movie was trying to show that they were like showing interest, but they just looked like they were like homies. And then, all of a sudden, they're like in the grass one day, and then they're in the grass, and then all of a sudden, they just start having this makeout session for like, 20 seconds, and then Oliver's like, oh, let's stop. Like, I guess Oliver didn't want them to do that in public. He had like these little comments like, we shouldn't do this in public. We shouldn't do it here. Da da da. And I was like, okay. After that, then it kind of like got more. They kind of like initiated the relationship a little bit. They had a few times they had intercourse. One day in bed, one of them, I don't remember who it was, said, call me by your name and I'll call you by mine. I guess it was a cute couple inside joke. Well, not joke, but inside romantic thing. I don't know. I will get into that later too. Another scene, Elio does his thing with the peach, the famous peach scene. And then Elio gets sad, because Oliver is leaving, summer is over. Oliver is like, oh, like I'll see you when I see you, like, let's hang out one last time. They hang out, blah blah blah. Oliver leaves, and he calls and then Oliver calls a few months later or something like that. Oliver drops the ball and says, hey, I'm getting married. I'm engaged to a woman. They've been on and off again for 3 years, and Elio's heartbroken. And then you see him cry in the camera for like 10 minutes as the credits roll. And that's the movie. So I know you're thinking, why do I think that this movie was boring? So first point that I have was my perception of the purpose of why this movie was made. So I feel like the main purpose of this movie was for aesthetic and flexing purposes of Italy, not an actual romantic love story. So, like what I said before, throughout the beginning of the movie, there's just a bunch of aesthetic shots of Italy. Elio's like laying on the grass here, or playing the guitar here by the tree, and then this person is swimming, and then this person is doing that, and they're over there, and they're just a bunch of filming of Italy, like when they're riding, when they're go downtown to shop. I think it was downtown. They're what's it called? They're just, it's just like an outer shot of like them talking, and then they're riding their bike, and it's just like, I just felt that they were just flexing that they're in Italy. Also, like throughout the beginning of the movie, for a good hour and a half, there's barely any dialogue, like barely. There's like no substance to the point of the story, the romantic story. They're just talking at breakfast, and they're swimming again, and they're swimming here. Elio says something to Oliver, and Oliver like smirks, and then they're swimming again, and they're just flexing that they're in Italy. um oh, and then there's like next like these random shots of like Elio like being dramatic, and in he's in Oliver's room, and he's like smelling his underwear, and then Oliver comes back and he's running out, and then they cut to the next scene of them eating breakfast again, and it's like, it's just, I don't know. And then that like this happens for a good hour and a half. Like it's just the same, like to me it was just like the same routine, like for an hour and a half, like they're just doing the same thing. And then all of a sudden Oliver and Elio have like their romantic scenes. So another reason why I think this movie is boring is because I didn't really get the Call Me by Your Name concept at all. So when Ellie and Oliver were in that scene where they were like, caressing each other's faces, and one of them said, I don't remember who it was, said, call me by your name and I'll call you by mine. And they're like whispering to each other like, Elio, Oliver. I'm not gonna lie, I was very confused because I don't think the movie explained, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think the movie explained the idea behind it. Like, did one of them make it up to be cute and romantic? Like, I don't know the meaning behind the whole idea of call me by your name. It seems pretty cute, but it was just confusing for me. I just felt like it was just thrown in there to be cute and romantic, but I don't know. I don't know. I was just sitting there like what? Like what does that mean? Like why is it cute? Like does it have some type, I don't know. Like it just didn't make sense to me as a viewer. So yeah, and another thing, like when Oliver called the house and was like, hey, I'm engaged, da 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 da. And then, I remember everything of our memories, blah, 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 blah. All of a sudden, Elio's like, Elio. Oliver's like, Oliver. And I'm just like, okay, I would understand it more if they would explain it. I was just sitting there watching them do this dramatic scene, and I'm like, I'm just here okay, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's just like, why is this a thing? Like, why? That's the name of the movie, Call Me by Your Name. Like, why is it so important for them to call each other by their name? Why? Where did this concept come from? I was confused. I don't know. Warning, I'm talking about a subject that may be triggering to some people and offensive at this part. At this section, I'm going to talk about the age gap. But I'll explain. So, sometimes in movies and in media, age gaps with a minor involved make me uncomfortable, no matter where the story takes place and who's in the story or what's happening in the story, in a romantic setting. So I know I researched it. The age of consent in Italy is 14 years old. So I don't know if this is going to come across as mean or offensive to anyone who took the movie in a different way. But I feel like in certain scenes, Oliver was Elio. I'm sorry, like I don't know if I'm seeing it a different way. But like for example, when Oliver and Elio didn't really know each other like that, and he took him to the side to like massage his back and stretch out his back when he was playing volleyball, but like he didn't really ask him to do that and stuff like that. I just felt it was just kind of because like in my perspective, like 17 is a very young age, and I still think 17-year-olds, they haven't lived long. Like they're so like vulnerable, and like they're very young. I just wish like Elio's character was older, like older than that, and I would have had a different perspective. And like the way Oliver looks, he looks very like old to be like, it just seemed very, in some parts it seemed and then when they were talking about like when Elio and Oliver were talking in the tree and was like, oh, how come you never showed me interest? Like I wish I knew that you liked me or had interest in me or loved me, because now we have no time anymore. We could have had more time. And Oliver, I did show you interest romantically when I was massaging your back that day when you were playing the game. And I was like, okay, okay, I guess. Another point that I have, which is kind of just my perspective of the movie in between the two of them. I felt like on Elio's side, he seemed way more interested in Oliver than Oliver being interested in him. For example, it seemed like Elio like had an emotional attachment to him. Like the way he spoke to him and his actions, and like how he would how they would interact with each other in some ways. Like to me, Oliver seemed like he liked him, but a lot of the scenes of them together, it seems like Oliver just wanted, to do something like some things with him, like not actually like get to know him or be in his presence. Like, it's just, you know what I mean? I don't know. Some parts, it just felt like Oliver just wanted to do some things, like not, to just be with him. Like once they like confirmed the interest. Like for example, another example, like Elio, when Elio did his thing with the peach, the famous peach scene, Oliver comes in the room and was saying very suggestive things, so like what he would do with the peach, blah blah blah. And then Elio's like, oh, don't say that, and then they move on, and then Elio's like, oh, why do you have to leave? Summer is over, you're gonna leave soon. And Oliver is just like, okay, like, yeah, like I'm leaving, like, okay, like like I mean, Oliver is just like, he was just like sad that he's leaving, but he wasn't as sad as Elio was. Like Oliver was just like, yeah, I'm leaving, like, okay. And like I don't know. I mean, they were sad like when they left, like when they like departed, like he went on the train, but it's just the way Elio kept on saying, oh, you're leaving, and then I was just like, yeah, it is what it is. and then right after, I think it was before or after that conversation, Oliver again was initiating doing things with him. And then randomly, Elio would be chilling in his room, and then Oliver would like come to the door, and then Elio would come up, and then he would just do some things, and then like wouldn't finish, and then would be like, okay, I'm done, and then like leave him. When it's just like, okay. I don't know. So sometimes I feel like, when Elio was being sweet, like Oliver would just make jokes about it and try to, and then like right after, like would try to get him to do some things like that. That's what I felt. But Elio was just like into him, like really like into him. But at the same time, there wasn't that much strong chemistry. One of my last thoughts, which would probably be a really unpopular opinion, is I don't know why, but I just felt like Oliver used Elio as like a summer fling. Um, I don't know, because I felt like he knew that he can easily like have some sort of relationship with Elio because he is 17 and he is young. So um, sometimes when you're young and an older person is interested in you, you probably would be more interested depending on the situation, being young. So um, I don't know. I just felt like he used him for like a summer thing. And then after the summer was over, he went back and married that woman, though he was on and off again. And I know that Oliver said that his father would kill him if he found out he was gay. Like if he was openly gay. But like from continuous interactions from what I saw, I felt like Elio was more interested in Oliver than vice versa, or like it being mutual. Um, like I said, Oliver seemed more into intercourse than Elio, or doing those type of things, having those type of encounters. Some scenes look like Oliver cared for him, but not like how Elio cared for him. But yeah, like I said, at the same time, as Elio is being more caring and more interested in Oliver in my eyes. It still looked like they were two besties just having like a summer like thing, and sometimes they had encounters. Um, you know, Sometimes they did intercourse. They had kissing scenes sometimes. Um, yeah, other than that, like it just looked like two bros like just chilling together. I don't know. I didn't see chemistry that strong. Yeah, and like to add onto what I just said, um I just felt like it meant so much to Elio like what happened that summer, and then Oliver, was like, I'm engaged. But the way he sounded on the phone was just like, we had our thing, we did our thing, but now it's time to move on. Like, or now, it's time, it's time for me to move on with my life. Like it's just like he just dropped him. I don't know. It just felt. I mean, he could do what he wants, like in his life, but Oliver. But it just felt like he just, like he was just like, hey, how are you? Oh yeah, I'm getting married. Like, and I know that in 1980 in Italy is different than now. It probably would have been like a way different response publicly. I have to research this more, but it probably would have been harder in Italy to obviously to be in an openly gay relationship. So, but it's just or anywhere in the world probably. I don't know. I have to research more, but it's just the fact that the way Oliver was sounding on the phone. It was just like, "Oh, I'm getting married, I remember everything that happened." But like, I'm getting married. But thank you so much for like your time and everything that happened, but I'm getting married. And then Elio was just sitting there like, oh, okay. Okay. Like, great. Like, am I supposed to be happy for you? Like, I don't like and then it's just so sad, like when Elio was in like right after the phone call, Elio was just sitting at the fireplace crying about not being there, and moving on with his life with the woman, and like it's just like he didn't even know that he was in this relationship with this woman. So it's just like he's just like, oh, like excuse me, like okay, like, and then he's just sitting there with pain, his heart broken, probably thinking that, oh, maybe I can visit America and see my man. Like, I don't know. This movie, it was interesting at some parts. A lot of it was boring. It was just shots and shots and shots of Italy and filming of the landscape and them swimming and him playing the piano and swimming and playing the piano and playing the guitar and listening to having his headphones on, listening to music and playing and swimming. And I'm just like, and eating breakfast, and yeah, and few dialogue for an hour and a half. So yeah, like, I explained some parts why I think certain parts of the movie just made me feel like it was different than what a lot of people were saying when the movie came out. So yep, that's my review. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on my post notifications, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok right down below, right in the description. Thank you so much. Please let me know your thoughts on my review. Let me know if you have a different perspective. Let me know if you agreed with what I was saying. I don't know. Please comment. Thank you. See you next time.